Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Shop Dog Fabrication. So today I'm here to tell you about my experiences at 2019's Hot Rod Drag Week. So this would have been the first time I ever competed in it, and I had an exceptional time. So what I'm here to tell you about is a rookie's view of Hot Rod Drag Week. What went right, what went wrong, and just about all the stories in between. So what I'm going to do is kind of narrate and tell you about it, and I've got some videos and pictures that I'll pop in there about my week, and at the end I'll just have a bunch of miscellaneous pictures that you guys can see. Of course, you know, I'd heard about you want to get to the track really early in the next day, so you can kind of get in line and get into tech quick. So we were up, you know, ridiculously early, and I think we were about the 20th car roughly in line that morning. So, you know, day zero, you know, tech day, we got, like I said, got in there really early, you know, and then as we got there, you know, a few more people started filing in, and they gave us tips, you know, hey, you really should unload your car from the trailer, you should really hook your trailer up, so basically you can go straight into tech line. And that worked out great. Because, you know, we were basically right behind Tom Bailey. You know, so that was really cool to be really the kind of the second car in line, you know, in Street Machine Eliminator, which is the class I competed in. So, you know, I'm in tech, you know, we're sitting there, we're waiting, and Tom Bailey walks over and says hello, and he sees him from Michigan as well, so talked to Tom for, you know, a couple minutes. I think Tom may have said 5 words that I probably talked. So from there, you know, we got teched in, no problems. You know, they checked, you know, my suit, my helmet, you know, made sure the turn signals and all that worked, checked my cage, you know, and basically sorted me for $9.99. So we were good to go. Now, I know my car is not a $9.99 capable car. I was going in there in hopes that, you know, I could run a really low 12. And we'll talk about that because I did not come anywhere near that. So, you know, we get through tech, park the car, start unloading all the gear, you know, and start prepping the car for the track. So we, you know, lower the tire pressure and do all that stuff. Now, I have not, when I finished the car 10 days before drag week began. I had not had a chance to make one single pass with the car. In fact, I think I had 60 street miles with the car. And that's all we had, you know, all I had time for, because like I said, I had just finished it after working at it for 3 years. I have 2 kids at college, so I'm on a strict budget to get this car done. So we got the car done, like I said, made the trip down, go to make my first pass. And it decides to shift 1-2 in the first 60 feet, and then it's a slug all the way the rest down the track, you know, and it basically runs at 14 something or other. Should have been a whole lot quicker than that based on the combination that I'm running. So go back, you know, make a few changes, check the timing, figure out maybe my transmission linkage is off because, you know, maybe it was in between, valves were in between the valve body somewhere. So I try adjusting that, go down make another pass down the track, and again, it's a slog, 14 something or other. So try some more things. Basically, at that point in time, was really not making any progress. So we decided to pack it up for the night. You know, let's go ahead and enjoy the week for what it is, and we'll have a great time. And at that point in time, you know, we got to meet several people already that day. That gave us some tips for the next day going forward. So, you know, I want to thank those guys for, you know, the veterans, if you will, that have gone through SME for kind of sharing some things. So we get to day 1. And, you know, we get to the track, and obviously everybody knows it rained, and it rained, and it rained. You know, we set our stuff down, our clothes bags, right, on the ground, and we had them covered up. But then we're under the stands, and I walk back just to make sure everything's okay, and I talked to my cousin, and I said, hey, what's under that? He goes, that's our clothes. Now, the way VMP is set up, they have like little grooves. So the rain seems to funnel in these grooves. Well, guess where our bags were? Right in those grooves. Thankfully, we had like rubber bottoms to our bags, and our clothes were actually dry. So one thing we did not have, something to bring, is a tarp. Bring a couple of those cheap Harbor Freight tarps. If nothing else, you can set your stuff on them and put them over top to keep your stuff dry. Our stuff absolutely got soaked, and you'll see a picture of us hanging all our stuff under the awning. So, now all of a sudden, skies break, hot ride, guys say, hey, everybody's going to make it, at least get one pass. Awesome. So, I decided to start the car up just to warm it up, make sure everything works, go around the pits and stuff, right? Hit the key, start the car, starts right up. 2 seconds later, it stalls. Will not restart. I'm thinking, all right, I got a couple hours to figure this out before they get the track dry. We're SME, they're going to run us last. So I start diagnosing the problem. So I pull the air cleaner off the car, check the air cleaner, or I checked for fuel, I should say. I got fuel, it's squirting in there, no problem, so I got fuel. All right, let's pull a spark plug out next. Put the spark plug, against the header, crank it over, and it starts right up. I'm like, what? Of course, fuel and everything's blown out the number 1 cylinder because I pulled the plug out from there. So we shut the car off real quick, put the plug back in, start it up, starts running fine. I'm like, what the heck's going on? I'm thinking to myself, the only thing I did was take the air cleaner off. Yeah, let's talk about the air cleaner for a second. So I'm running a paper filter, and you can see I'm running a hood scoop. Well, all that rain apparently soaked my air cleaner full of water. This thing basically was sopping wet. So what I had to do is I threw it up on the roof because I had a few hours and it dried out, and I was able to put it back on and the car ran fine. But that was the first moment of panic for day 1 of Hot Rod Drag Week. So we get in the lanes. And I'm talking to some people in the lanes, about why my car might be shifting 1-2 real early. Well, the one thing I had done to my car is I did one of those Transgo shift kits. Basically, I made mine to where it can either be manual upshift, or it can be put in auto and it'll just drive an auto, shift by itself. Well, thinking that it was a manual kit, that I did not need to run on the Chryslers or the Mopars, you need to run either a linkage or a line that basically there's a little lever. As you increase your vehicle speed, it increases line pressure. Well, I didn't realize that because I put that kit in there, I thought I could run without it. Needless to say, I needed to figure something out, because as I was talking to people and texting a buddy of mine who's real good with transmissions, he says, okay, at least stick a zip tie on it, increase your line pressure, get down the track. You may have to do that through the week, figure out where to set it. I'm like, all right, we'll have to just get by. That line, I jacked up the car, put a jack stone under there for safety, kind of guessed where to zip tie it, put it all back down, went in the staging lanes, made my pass, and I ran and you'll see in a second,
nice car in a dart on the other side of the racetrack. Who'd have thunk it? Trouble for Dave Hoover. It's really trouble on both sides. As Hoover's car kind of on and off the power as he gets to the 8th mile and goes 12:48 at 108. Mike Turner 14:73.3 at 93 miles per hour.
It was a terrible pass. And now the other thing you'll notice in the video, you'll see at the top end, and I didn't know this until actually just a couple days ago, that there was white smoke billowing out of the car. And nobody told me that there was white smoke. My cousin, who was watching, I don't think he saw it, and he happened to tell me. But I'll tell you about where that little white smoke came from here in just a minute. So we get the car all packed up. We get the trailer hooked up. We're ready to head out for our drive. So we pull out a VMP. I go to shift in the second gear, and guess what? There's no second gear. I shift back down in the first, back up in the second gear, no second gear. We're about a mile down the road now, and I got no second gear, just after going down the track and it shifted fine. So we pull over, you know, I don't know, mile or two down the road at this little Italian restaurant. Pull over, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to cut this zip tie off because see if that makes a difference. So I crawl under the car, you know, with my pair of side snips, cut that off, and while I'm looking at under the car, I see oil leaking out of the front crank seal. The breather's plugged. So basically what I did is I popped the breather off, we wiped everything down good, started the car back up, no oil leak. And it was building too much crankcase pressure, and it was pushing a little bit of oil out. So we get all that fixed. I look at my cousin, I say, let's hit the road. So we jumped in the car, hit the road, boom, got first gear, got second gear, got third gear. I said, all right, we'll go. Let's go to the parts store. Let's grab a breather, see if we can find it, one at Advanced or AutoZone or whoever, right? So we grab a couple things we needed, get the car taken care of, hit the road. So we go down the road, you know, we're maybe 15 miles down the road now. You know, we're feeling good about ourselves. We're on I-95 in the middle of freaking traffic. And the car's cruising just good. Next thing you know, I see a drag week car pulled over, and I see steam just pouring out this guy's hood. It's a black GNX. And so we pull over to the side of the road and see what we can do to help this guy out. So he says, hey, all I need is a gallon of water. You guys can head out, or give me whatever water you have. I'll get the car cooled down, pull over the side of the road, you know, in a little while. And so I had a washer-bought jug that I had, you know, we had emptied out, and I had a gallon, you know, whatever, gallon plus of water, and that gave the guy, you know, my spare water so he could cool his car down and get off the highway. Because I'll be honest, man, where that stretch of road was freaking sketchy. So just as we're ready to pull back into traffic, another drag weaker pulls over in front of us. It was a black Pontiac 4-door, and their fuel pump goes out. So my cousin climbs back out of the car, runs back up, check this guy out, see, hey, do you need some help? You know, the guy behind us, you know, he's gonna be here for a little bit. Do you need us to stick around? He's like, no, I'm gonna change my fuel pump out real quick, and I'm gonna pull over off to the side of the road, you know, and probably do a better job of connecting it. So I'm like, we're sure you're all right. He's like, yeah, I think we're gonna be all right. So basically, that guy gets his car, or we started working on his car, and then we pull out on I-95. So now we're going through Washington traffic. The car is actually cruising good. You know, the car's actually running pretty cool. I did not have time to make a fan shroud, so I did have dual electric fans in the car. And so as, you know, we started sitting in traffic, the car would start getting warm. So, you know, what's lesson number 2 is make sure you got a fan shroud, or point number 2. So I now have the fan shroud on the car. The fans are all hooked up again, but you know, we made it through DC. You know, we cruised all night. Or we get to the first checkpoint. Let's talk about that first checkpoint. We get to the first checkpoint, and all of a sudden we pull in, and I was amazed at the amount of people there. Not just drag weekers, but all the people there to check out Drag Week, you know, all the cars that are coming through, you know, and several people came up, you know, and hey, saw your car on the track, what happened, you know, and you know, it was kind of cool to talk to people, and you get kind of lost talking to people on time, right? So you've been cruising, you get there, you're talking to people, next thing you know, half hour, 45 minutes go by, and you're like, oh crap, man, we got to get going. So we get going again, it's starting to get dark. And my headlights, again, I have not driven this car yet at night. So we have to pull over, we get the headlights adjusted. You know, they weren't the best. I did put, not the glass, you know, OE style. I did put H4 style ones in there that are replaceable bulbs, and they work pretty good. Being a 1970 Dodge Dart, you know, the one thing I just did, the modification, I'm now running through relays, and the headlights are now much brighter. So if you're running an older car, I would highly recommend you running relays for your headlights. They will definitely help out the brightness of them. So we get the headlights adjusted, you know, we hit the next checkpoint. And again, man, I don't think we got to that checkpoint till like 9 o'clock at night. And we head over to Cecil County. Now, we didn't realize Cecil County, right, is just a little 2-lane road, country back road. And we spent probably an hour in traffic trying to get into Cecil County. To Cecil County, we get set up, you know, get the car ready, lower the tire pressures. You know, and it was really cool to talk to a lot more people. And actually, we got to talk to a couple guys that had made the trip in from New Zealand, which was really neat. So there was 4 guys from New Zealand that came over, and they were kind of checking out Drag Week. And it was really neat to talk to the 2 of them, you know, and kind of see what they were doing and what their plans are for the future and what their impressions were of the event. And it was really, really a cool time spending about 30 minutes talking to those guys. And then, you know, we go up and make my pass.
Michael Turner is in the 70 Dart. I have claimed that the Dart is the new Fox Mustang out here at Drag Week. There are a ton of these things running in all sorts of different classes. I think people have figured out that they are fairly cheap still. They're light, good muscle cars. You can fit anything in them. I'm planning on putting a big block Chevy in one. The 68 D100 goes 11:15 at 119 miles an hour. Good little muscle truck. The Dart 13:58 at 102.
You know, I've been running 14s all week, and all of a sudden, you know, I put the zip tie back on the transmission, guessing against where I should put it, and the car goes out and runs a 13. I think it was 13.5. So I'm like happy. I'm like, man, we're done for the day. Let's pack up, let's get out of here, and let's try to get in early tonight. So, you know, we pack up, we hit the road, and the day, you know, we had a nice just cruise that day. Didn't get lost. You know, made all the checkpoints, and again, so we have a great day. You know, we get to our hotel. We, you know, I think it was like, I don't know, maybe 8, 9 o'clock that night. Finally have some dinner, you know, before we finally crash. You know, it's still about 10 o'clock that night. So we finally wrap up day 2, having a really good day that day.